Tadris, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is great. So you are a health coach, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How long have you been doing that for?
Since 2013. So a little bit over a decade now, 12 years.
That's a long time. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And what is the primary source of health that you kind of coach?
If I'm allowed to say, I started off in the weight loss industry, and my wife had gastric bypass surgery. There's other people in my family that I knew had gastric bypass surgery or had health concerns all their life. My grandmother passed away at the age of 56, and what I remember most about her is going to, besides her good cooking, teaching me how to play cards, uh, was her unfortunately going to dialysis 3 or 4 days a week. So this is something that is passionate to me. So when I saw my wife had gastric bypass surgery and she wanted to lose an additional 20 pounds so that she hit the 100-pound loss, I became a health coach and we were helping people with their nutrition. But along the way, one of the trainings that I went to, they said, wrap this health coaching thing around things you enjoy doing. Some people might do video games, some people might do bowling nights and stuff like that. And I said, I kind of like to run. I kind of hate running in a lot of aspects, but I found running through my love for basketball. And growing up, I had asthma, and sports induced asthma. So in order to try to make the basketball team, I tried out for cross country. And fast forward all those years later to becoming a health coach, I said, if I'm trying to get people to lose weight, getting them active and moving is also a key aspect to it. So I'm gonna start a couch to 5K program, and I'm gonna meet people at the park, and we go from week one all the way because there's apps out there, but apps don't keep you motivated. So I had this in-person training to go along with the nutrition that we were doing.
Yeah, that that's great. It's like in person, combined with online, but all together works out. You said a lot there. Like you brought in family, you brought in health. So your wife was your first client then, pretty
I
much.
guess you could say, but she was my first inspiration. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
We kind of joined that service together. She was my reason for doing it, as it were. She don't ever let her hear anyone say that she's my client because she doesn't want to hear what husband has to say.
She'll never hear this at all. Good deal, man. Good deal. But then you bring in basketball, which is awesome because in cross country, one sport leads to the other, and they help each other out. And then you bring in the age of your grandma is like everybody here is getting older. So and the health is specific to everybody, and health is helps you out when you're older, as in it does right now.
Yeah. Um, I sometimes when I put content out there, I when I think about my grandmother, I say I wish she had someone like me right now, right? Someone that can coach her through things. You know what I mean? And I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that's really caring about people's health and wellness. So yeah, I just wish that back in the '80s she had someone because she died in the early '90s. You know, um, yeah. So basically, like right now, I'm 50. I just turned 50, right? In July of last year, so I'll be 51, 2025 here, and we if we know better, we got to do better. You know what I mean? And make good decisions and good habits, creating good habits.
They carry a long weight and go with you for a long time. And if you could get that habit of exercise and nutrition right now, it will continue to bring that along with you as you age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then also this education too. So the things that we're doing right now, bring this education to everybody. This is a good way to focus in and get. Hey, everyone's getting older. Let's start running together. And running's so great. And you said you don't like running. I like after the run. Right? It's hard getting up and good and running, but after the run, oh, you feel so good.
You feel amazing. It's called the runner's high, and you got endorphins, kicked in and everything like that. I used to have, because I get my own shirts made. This is like the runner's logo, and this was a 5K that we did. So I said, run. This is like run strong, right? The program is called Keep Calm and Run to the Best You, and that's my vision. I want people to run to the best version of themselves, and a lot of times they don't believe in themselves because things that they have tried in the past wasn't successful, but it wasn't their fault in a lot of ways. There's so much confusion out here in the world. Oh, 1 minute coffee's good for you, next minute coffee's bad for you, next minute running's good for you, next minute running's bad for you. It's just there's so many conflicting things, but if we can like drown out the noise and go back to basics, we can find great success in the simplicity of certain things. Take running, for example. If we go back to running, I was able to meet Jeff Galloway. He came to Atlantic City, New Jersey, at my like second or third half marathon that I signed up for, and he was at the expo, and he was teaching this thing called Run, Walk, Run, and he was saying that you know, th- taking these intervals is so much healthier on your joints and on your body that you can get through a marathon pain free. And I like the sound of that. And so he was asking the crowd, "Do you have any questions?" And everybody was silent, but I kept raising my hand. Hey, yeah, I got a question. And when I asked the question, people were nodding their head like that's a good question, right? I adopted it so much, and that's how not only have I been able to complete a couple of marathons. Now, I don't claim to be elite. I'm a little like the top 40% of finishers, so I'm a little bit better than middle of the pack, but. I enjoy showing people. I told you when we first started it was in person, but now through social media, because when I first started, we didn't have social media back then in the early, 2013. It was just coming around. But now through mediums like this and TikTok, and I do a podcast myself. The message is getting out a little bit further, and people are hearing like, oh, he helped a 60-year-old. I'm
Yeah.
60. I'm 62. Maybe I could do this. I didn't think this was for me. And then I teach them the run, walk, run method. And now the lady is 66 years old and she got the same half marathon medal that I got in 2024. She did her first half marathon at 64. Or I'm sorry, at 66. She did her first half marathon.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations to her and to you for coaching. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you talk about half marathons. Do you start out with half marathons or marathons a goal, or how do you bring that mentality into your coaching?
Good question. So that lady in particular, um, she doesn't have a problem with me shouting out her name. Her name is Joanne Rivera, and she lives in Boyertown, PA. So she lives 2.5 hours from me. We got on a Zoom call. She heard the sound of the podcast, and I said, "Where's my 60-year-olds at?" And she said, "Here I am," right? And she said, "The problem is I haven't been able to stick to something long enough, right? And I could use some weight loss too." So I gave her an eating protocol. This woman went at 64, who was not a runner. She went on to lose 12 pounds the first month of following a simple eating protocol that I gave her. She lost 12 pounds that month, went on to run her first 5K. So that's the deal, right? That's the carrot, okay? First 5K. Let's get you your first 5K. Oh well, I never ran. Yeah, how you going to do that? Okay. Well, listen, we're going to build these habits. You're going to eat better, right? You're
Yep.
going to check in with me. I'm going to check in with you. Hey, how's it going? You're 2.5, 3 hours away. How's everything going? Yeah, I'm staying true to the plan, coach. Good job, good job. All right, we only train 3 days a week. So Tuesday, Thursday, and a weekend day, they're going to follow the schedule that I lay forth. Maybe it's 30 minutes at their run, walk, run ratio. and they turn in their time with me. We have a online accountability group that she's like a master at posting her workouts in the online accountability group, so everyone sees it. You know,
Teamwork.
just building this habit for those 3 days a week, and then 7 days a week she's following the eating program protocol, building this habit. Right after she's done her first half marathon, I mean her first 5K, she goes on to sign off to the next, and she signs up for the next. This lady, she came in last place at a 5K, her very first 5K before she met me, right? She came in last place because she walked the whole thing, which we love too. Walkers, get out there, do what you can. Don't compare yourself. I can't compare myself to the most elite marathon runners and stuff like that, and I don't want to. So don't, start with what you have. Be grateful for where you are in your life right now. Even if you used to be a athletic person, but you had a setback. A setback is just a setup for the comeback. So you're gonna come back and walk if you need to, right? So she walked and came in last place. 1 year later, 40 pounds down, that same lady in her 60s, she placed ninth in her age group, 60 to 69, out of 39 runners. This race is a pretty big race. 39 runners from the 60 to 69 age group. She catapulted herself up to ninth place. Come on, man. You know what I mean? And then once she get into the community, and then I have this one lady, she always like recruits people, and she said, another good habit is surrounding yourself with like-minded people that's going to build you up, not tear you down. So Chris Ballard's like the perfect person, and she's like, hey, yeah, you can do a half marathon. And she's like, you really think I can do it? Oh, please. It's going to be easy for you. Do you see how good you are? And sure enough, the woman is killing it.
It's
66 years
so good.
old. She
That's so
crushed that.
good. Yeah, it's teamwork. It when I look at it, if you're on a team with like-minded people going after goals, they will bring you up, and they'll both go up and up and up, and you will too. And it's not like you are falling behind them. You're doing whatever you can for yourself. There's money involved, but we're not out here for the money. We're out there for our health. We're out there for enjoyment, for life. These events, these triathlon events, these marathon events, the like-minded people, the energy that comes into that area at that specific time is so awesome.
Man, you giving me chills. I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it, Curtis, because I uh, I just volunteered at a race that I would have been doing. I've been doing it for like over a decade now, but due to a setback, not from running, but car accident, got rear-ended, so I'm not running right now. And I could have stayed home and just been like, I can't do it. I could have possibly done it, but I know if I put that bib on, I'm gonna push myself too hard, and that might, do something crazy to my back. So I did the smart, responsible thing. But what I did was I said, I'm available to volunteer, and I was at a water station, and I had the privilege of being at the halfway point too. So they passed my water station at the 6 mile mark, and they had like another half mile. So I got to see them twice going back and forth. And some people recognized me. Hey, coach, what's up, coach? My water station was like, man, you're popular. And the beautiful thing was when we got word that the last person is coming through, man, I jumped off that water table when I started walking with the last place person that was walking. She was in her 60s as well, like late 60s, 68. And she's going for all 50 states. So she flew from California all the way to New Jersey to knock off this one. She said that she'll be done a half marathon in all 50 states by October 2025. So like, man, the to your point of just everybody building each other up, man. Like that's why I tell my wife, again, love my wife. She was working out in the living room this morning. She's getting back into her game because we have ebbs and flows in life.
Absolutely.
You have good habits, and then you fall back into old habits, and then you're like, man, I got to get back to where I was. So she was out there working out this morning, and I love her for that for sure. And I said, but it's nothing like working out for 8 weeks, knowing that the schedule calls for this particular event that you got
The
to be
goal.
at, and you crush it, and you walk away with that medal. but you walk away with more than that medal. You walk away with like, wow, that felt so good. Everybody was cheering us on. Everybody was so friendly. The scenery was beautiful. I gotta do this again. You just get bit by it.
I agree. I agree. And the triathlons are the same way. It's just those types of events. It's so awesome. For myself, about 20 years ago, I did this half marathon in Detroit, and I was running it with my girlfriend. So so we were running, and she's a little bit slower, but I'm not gonna leave her, right? So we're running, 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 and we finally crossed the finish line. The next day, they published everybody's name in the newspaper. Guess who was dead last in the age group?
Hey,
So
hey.
it's dead last for your age group, but I was all right with it. So, so you could be dead last, and it's still an event. You still get those memories. You still get the
Absolutely.
chills.
Hey,
It's
listen,
life.
there was a race one time. Funny story. There was a race one time. This is when I learned to just run your own race and mind your business because there was a guy running with his girlfriend, and the girlfriend was faster than him, and she was
Okay.
nasty. She was nasty to him. She was like, "Come on, you said you were going to do this with me," and he was like, "Just go." It was like the first mile, bro. It was like a half marathon. It was the first mile. He was struggling. And she got so mad at him, and ladies around us was like, "Oh, you don't got to be so mean." And then she had some choice words for them, and I'm just
Oh,
like, "Put your head down, just run your own race." So sometimes I have a couple, Chris, that I was talking about. She recruited her husband, and her husband was not a runner. And like I said, Chris she's amazing. She will recruit anybody. Misery don't like being alone, so she recruits anybody she can, so that she has company. And her and her husband run it together. They're not worried about age group placing and nothing like that. They just signed up to the Disney 2026 marathon. It's her first marathon, so I'm looking forward to seeing her do that because she's been like with me the longest. She's been with me for like 8 or 9 years.
okay. That'll be good. Like put those goals out further on, so you have something to set for. So something to look forward to in Disney at Disney in
Oh, absolutely.
2026. Because
Yeah.
time's not stopping. Time's not
No,
stopping at all.
no.
So
So
enjoy what you
on,
can.
on my wall, I have this. I have this shadow box that I created, and I wanted to do the Dopey challenge from the very first time I went to Disney, and I did the half marathon. Donald Duck is the medal, and I'm like, man, why do you have to run a marathon to get Mickey? I want Mickey, but you got. But I saw this type of. I made this one myself, which is even more personal. Um, the Dopey Challenge is 4 races over like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon. And you do all four, you get 6 medals for it. It's called the Dopey Challenge. And I just love like touching, like when you sign up for stuff like that, it brings happiness to the now. And because like, all right, when you buy the tickets, it gives you a boost of endorphins and adrenaline and happiness, and then you have something to work for. It's one thing to have habits, and then like I said, you might fall back into old habits. But when you set your sights on something like that in the distant future, now every decision that I make, am I going to be wasting time, or am I going to be making moves, having create good habits, whether it's spent saving my money for the hotel, saving the money, like working hard for the flight so that I can afford the flight. You know what I'm saying? Like it just turns into a great year. And then, then you have that big shit, shebang to look forward to. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
It helps you like solidify those habits because you need good habits to be able to get there. The
Because
eating, the training, the saving of the money, to putting the money away, all the things.
it's the goal. It's the goal. It's the why. Why are you doing this? What's the goal? How are you going to get there? It all comes together. So as we're continuing to talk about habits, a lot of people are extremely busy with life, and they have a full time job. How do you work with those who want to do this but have a full-time job, and how do you reduce burnout for these runners?
I gotta tell you, whether it's runners or just people trying to get healthy overall, um, the most transformational book that I have put my hands on, and I've read a lot of health and wellness books, all kinds of productivity books. My favorite is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
Okay.
The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. I forget the tagline, but it's like something successful people do before 8 a.m. And there's 6 habits that the book uh, focuses on, and that's an acronym called the Savers. S is for silence. I have my Apple Watch, so I'll wake up in the morning and I'll do my breathing and check my heart rate first thing in the morning. People say that's meditation. So you're just sitting in silence, and I use that silent time to be able to get check my heart rate, my breathing. Okay, boom. I might glide into a prayer. Boom. In my silent time. A is for affirmations. So write down your goals, right? Write down your goals and then like create an affirmation around them. It's not good to just say, I'm a money magnet, I'm healthy, but you don't have the action steps to go along with it. So write down like this is I plan to be, 170 pounds by the end of the month, and I'm going to do that today by eating 2 meals with no carbs. Keep, have my protein numbers up, whatever that affirmation looks like for you. So affirmations, visualization, writing that, like journaling,
Yep.
which when I journal, it's also a part of my visualization. What my day looks like. E is for exercise. What time I might do that first thing in the morning, right? With the busy life that people live, okay, where if I want to have this goal of it doesn't have to be an hour workout, it could be 20 minutes, 10 minutes. How much time can we set aside? So therefore, like you said, your why have to be bigger than your biggest excuse. So therefore, I'm gonna turn off Netflix tonight. I'm gonna turn off Netflix tonight. I'm used to playing on my phone. I'm gonna actually charge my phone on the other side of the room so I'm not tempted to stay up too late, so that I can get up just 20, 30 minutes earlier so that I can do this morning routine, right? And everybody might not be a morning person, but if you visualize your day, you say, all right, boom, I gotta schedule myself into the calendar. If I had a meeting with Curtis at 8:30 a.m., I'm gonna make sure I be there. So why don't I make sure I be there for myself at 4 p.m. as soon as I get off work, right? I'm going straight to the park. I'm going straight to the gym. I'm going to schedule myself this time. That lady that I was talking about, Chris Ballard, the kids are in college now. But when she joined me, she has 3 triplets and she works 12-hour shifts overnight. And I said, and it's Tuesday and we're at the track and she's doing speed work, and she never complained about it. I'm like, man, you're a machine. And I said, why are you here? Because I want to know your why. And she says, this is the one thing that I do for myself. And it was a blessing and an honor for her to be coming out to me. She could be at any gym in the world, but she chose to come out to that park and train for these different events. And she's like, this is the one thing that I do for myself. And her husband was on board. Our family will be on board because they want you to be healthy. E is for exercise, R is for reading, S is for scribing, another word for journaling. And I believe that has helped my service tremendously because it's helped me. It starts at the top. It has helped me, and I teach it to you. When I learned Jeff Galloway's Run, Walk, Run, it helped me. I'm going to teach it to you, right? You don't have to recreate the wheel. If someone out there have given us something that can transform our lives, we practice it, and then we help others. Did that answer the question?
That's a lot. So a lot in the morning, a lot of preparation. That preparation helps with focusing on the rest of the day. It helps you get centered. Yeah, that's great, man. That's great. But like at the end of the day, like how can you, like with burnout? What about burnout can you say, hey, okay, I'm coaching you. I feel like you're getting burned out. Let's cut it back down this week to 20-minute run instead of that hour run. Like, what type of burnout remedies do you have?
So I feel like based on my philosophy, less is more anyway. So the protocol for us, instead of running for long periods of time and like some people get addicted to it 5 6 days a week, we only do 3 days a week, and then I encourage you to do 3 days of strength training and stuff like that. After me and Chris have been doing this for so long, could it be possible that uh, Chris got burnt out a little bit? Um, that's a possibility too. But guess what? Then they started adding biking to the equation. So it's like switching things up. Like, you don't have to continue to do one type of exercise. Find other, like, if it's no longer enjoyable, if running 13.1 or 26.2 is no longer enjoyable within the running thing, you can switch it up. I'm gonna do more sprints, shorter amount of distance, and then sign up to a 5K, which is 3 miles, blitz it and hit it and go. You know what I mean? And then again, being able to add biking to it. Next thing you know, you and your mate is riding bikes in the neighborhood, and you're like, you know what? Let's upgrade our bikes and do a Philadelphia to Atlantic City 50-mile ride. Let's go swimming. Let's go. Let's learn salsa dancing. Switching it up. You can always come back to your original love.
I love that. I love that. Just changing it up. I think that's a great way to reduce burnout. Awesome. Awesome. Uh, so this is endurance running. It doesn't matter. Like you start off 5K. 5K to somebody might be extremely hard, and that's just a start. But it's endurance running, and it's to them. What would you like people to know about endurance running that is so important?
Uh, Something that I had to learn the hard way when I first did my first marathon.
We always
Um,
learn the hard way, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I'm used to, like, I'm not the type of person that during practice I don't feel like carrying a bunch of stuff. And I'm not the guy that will like park there and then drive 5 or 6 miles, put water or gels at a certain location. I've seen people do that,
Yeah.
right? That way when they get to that location, it is there. I'm not that guy. So I kind of conditioned myself to, I can run 13, 15 miles with no water, whatever, like that, whatever. But when it comes to endurance, I definitely recommend, people have some nutrition. Like, the first marathon that I did, I was in a lot of pain afterwards. I felt good. I accomplished it. The pain was like, in my mind, was a good pain. But my next one, a good friend of mine said, have something every 30 minutes, whether you think you need it or not, because by the time you need it, it's too late.
Mhm.
So I have found these Morin gels that very limited, like very minimum ingredients, just like water based. So they are easy on your stomach, and then every 30 minutes, my second marathon, I came across the finish line with no ice packs, because the first marathon that I crossed, when I got with my family, I had an ice pack on my shoulder, ice pack on my groin, and I come struggling, and they're like, "Wow, look at you! We're so proud of you. Are you okay?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm good." The next one, I came by like, yo, that was so fun, and she was like, "Oh, you don't got no ice packs on this time." I took every time. I packed my own gels. The Marine brand has caffeinated and non-caffeinated. So you definitely want to practice with them first to see how
Yeah.
it feels. Like, you don't want to do something on the day of. So, and I want to go back to Jeff Galloway. He's so old school. He said that he will take a bottle of Coca-Cola the night before, unpop the cap, let it go flat, and the next day during a marathon, he'll be drinking Coca-Cola for the sugar to for his energy source, right?
Sugar and
So
caffeine.
while I was waiting for the Morin packs to come, I actually got Go-Go Squeeze applesauce.
Okay.
The sugar from the apple, and it's like it just melts since the apple is already pureed. It's like I'm like, man, this is a cheap energy source right here. So there's been times when I use Go-Go squeeze every 30 minutes for those long distance things.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome, man. So yeah, let's wrap up. Do you want to bring out anything else as a health coach or endurance coach? What else would you like to get out there on this time?
Yeah, I just feel like there's a billion-dollar industry that is, when we watch TV, the marketing for burgers and fries, fast food, this, that, and the other thing. You get all this stuff, and then you be watching a show, and all of a sudden you got a taste for Coca-Cola because this product placement they put it in your face, and then you go to
Yeah.
the store, and then on the same show you're watching with all these like food, fast food things to go buy. Then there's these Ozempics and these different medications to undo the side effects of the choices, right? And so when I talked about earlier that, stripping it down, going back to basics, eating real food, okay? Like sometimes people can't, they feel like they can't exercise because their knee hurts. Well, guess what? The knee hurting could be a cause of from inflammation from too much sugar, too much of anything can start causing inflammation in the body. So if we can go back to basics, and like I said, now when we first started this in 2013, I was working with a company that sold a lot because, like I said, there's $1 billion business in selling products to help people lose weight. Well, I left that company in 2018 because I couldn't take any of the products that I was selling because I wanted to do a reset where I eliminated soy and alcohol and different things like that, and my stomach flattened out in just 30 days. I was like, I'm never taking one of these products again. And so I coach people, like, besides running, I coach people one on one like this. Like, we'll get on a call once a week and I give them the protocol. It gets shot to their email. They get the protocol. And then we do a weekly call. Some people are busy. I just make videos and I send them personal videos. Like, instead of just sending videos on TikTok or whatever like that, they'll get their own personal video to encourage them. And that's something that people are not getting today. Like, I'm your coach in your pocket. No matter where we live in the world, I can be that coach in your pocket, and you're getting that personalized attention from me.
That's awesome, Tadris. Thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I hope you could reach so many more people. What you've been saying is just so in line with the health industry and just keeping it up with the habits. We're all getting older. Like second by second, we're all getting older, and we need our health more than anything.
Yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
there's a lady that she texts me every night. Her name is Miss Doors, and she lives in our town, and she just turned 98. And she texts me good morning and good night every night, right? So I met her through social media. Ironically, she was on Facebook, and she said, "I see that you're in the running. I would like for you to come over and check out my medals." So I'm like, it's kind of strange, right? And then it was during the pandemic too. So after everything calmed down, I went over her house. She's amazing, and she is so amazing. And she showed me her scrapbook with her photos and her memories and medals and stuff. And um, I think about her when I bring on a person in their 60s and, like, yo, you're not getting old. You still got 30 some years to catch Miss Doris. And you know what?
Yeah,
Miss Doris, I mean, she still does like floor stretches and stuff. She's still working out at 90 some years old, 98 years old.
that's
She's
awesome.
doing what she can. And in her mindset, she's like, I don't got time for pity parties. I don't got time for pity parties. Let's get it done. Let's solutions, no problems, just solutions. No time to wallow in the pity. Let's figure this out. Let's get it done. And I love her mindset. And I just had to say that. I don't know if who needs to hear that. But I have mentioned before, a setback is just a setup for the comeback. So. Like Curtis said, we're not getting younger. We're getting older. You're either moving towards something or you're falling back into to we always running. You either run into the best version of yourself, or you could be running to disease and things that you don't want. If we're going to live into 80, 90 years old, you don't want to be spending that time at the doctor's office. You don't want to be spending that time with injections. And a lot of the things that we're dealing with today are reversible. And again, if we didn't make the best choices before, when's the next best time to make the right choice? Today. Yes,
Totally.
sir.
Yeah. Tadris, thank you so much for this conversation. Been really, really pleasurable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for
All
having
right.
me.
and I'll see you out on the track. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.